Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a great week thus far. Welcome Aryan, Nitika, Lee, Nisa, Kartar. Good to see many students in the class. Welcome members. Hi Mohit. Cartini, nice to have members in the class on time. Everyone, this is an IELTS listening section lesson. We are focusing on hearing Band 9 answers. Of course, that means hearing the correct answer and giving the correct answer on the question sheet. This lesson, everyone, is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there for the general IELTS. Check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots and lots of help for the listening section. There are 6 complete exams, a fully interactive course, lots of lesson videos, more exams coming later this year. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. We will be using this in a few moments for our listening practice. You can click this big red button to join the premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, or at least until you finish your IELTS exam. We are a British Council IELTS Test Registration Center and certified agents. You're in good hands with us. We train thousands of students daily. This is our general IELTS general IELTS website at gieltshelp.com. It's the same concept, green background. You click that big red button to join. Anamika Shahai, back to you as well. All right. Now, if you'd like to get our apps, you can download those. Academic IELTS Help app links to aehelp.com. General IELTS Help app links to gieltshelp.com. And this Sunday, we will be premiering my IELTS Band 9 Journey Episode 4, my test results and feedback. That's right, I sat the official IELTS exam a few months back at the start of the year. And I recorded that so that everybody can kind of see my experience of the IELTS exam. And we are premiering an episode each week. This week we are into episode 4. You can already see the first 3 episodes on YouTube. And you can actually see episode 4 in the premium package on gieltshelp.com and aehelp.com. So hang out there. All right. So everybody, if you have questions and you don't see or you don't get answers in the class, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. I will happily answer your inquiries. We've got several more classes later this week. So tomorrow we've got Task 2 for members, listening parts 3 and parts 4, which will be a continuation of the class. Today we'll have questions and answers for members, and then we'll have speaking part 2 for everyone as well on Saturday. Okay, so let's get into some listening. So this listening that we're going to hear right now is our 5th exam. It's test 5, so it's CD 5 in your premium course. We're listening to track 1. Now, just a quick FYI, I'm going to be playing the audio through my headset microphone and a nice Bose speaker. If it's quiet for you, turn up the volume on your end. Also, please do not put your answers in the chat. Put your answers on a separate piece of paper or document. We will share them after together, okay? Don't put them in the chat because it spoils it for others. And also, if you give wrong answers, then it could be really confusing. So let me just hop over to the website here. Just going to jump into my student account there. In my student account, I find all different sections of this software, computer-based IELTS exams, full online academic IELTS course. Of course, if you click on these, they'll open up into all of their sections. And what I'm looking for here are my audio CDs. So this is going to be CD 5, track 1. And here we go, students. So listen, answer. We'll go through them after together, and I will talk strategy. All right, everyone, here we go.
This recording is copyrighted by 2Think1 Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings, and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Listening Section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 people as one tries to return a defective product. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You'll see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Good afternoon. I bought a product from your store 1 week ago, and I've been having difficulties getting it to work properly.
Of course, sir. Do you have the original receipt from the purchase? The first piece of information I need is the date you purchased the product.
Yes, I actually have it right here. I purchased it 8 days ago, on the 6th of July.
The 6th of July. Great.
The man says he purchased the item on July 6th, so this answer has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good afternoon. I bought a product from your store 1 week ago, and I've been having difficulties getting it to work properly.
Of course, sir. Do you have the original receipt from the purchase? The first piece of information I need is the date you purchased the product.
Yes, I actually have it right here. I purchased it 8 days ago, on the 6th of July.
The 6th of July. Great. I also need the name of the product as indicated on the receipt.
Certainly. The receipt shows it as SOJO 232XD.
SOJO 232XD?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, yes. I see the product in my records now. It is a 23-inch computer monitor?
Yes, that's correct.
Now tell me, did you buy the extended warranty on the monitor?
No, I did not. I always feel like those warranties are a bit of a scam.
Perhaps, until you need the warranty?
Perhaps. But there must be some sort of manufacturer's warranty, right?
There may be. Let me check for you. Okay. Yes, it seems there is a manufacturer's warranty. The warranty is for 60 days. 2 months.
Great. Then I shouldn't encounter any problems in returning it.
Well, actually, we only accept returns for a week after purchase. Since you purchased the computer monitor 8 days ago, you'll have to deal directly with the manufacturer.
How annoying. What steps must I take then?
Well, the company that makes the monitor has a depot in Birmingham. You must post it to them.
Okay. Do you have their address?
Yes, it's on Edgbaston Park Road and...
Hold on. You'll have to spell Edgbaston for me. I've never heard of it.
Of course. It is spelled EDGBASTON.
And then the rest of the address?
The address number is 89 and the unit number is 5.
Okay. So 89 Edgbaston Park Road, Unit 5.
That's right. And the postcode is B152RU.
B152RU.
That's right.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
Great, but one concern I have is the cost of posting something as large as a computer monitor.
Indeed. Such a product must weigh a few kilos and will certainly set you back some money to post. Let me see if the company takes such a problem into consideration.
Well, that would certainly be nice if they did.
Yes, it seems they do. They have a program in place where they pay postage for the exchange of goods under manufacturer warranty or product recall.
That's great news. What do I have to do to use this service?
It's fairly simple. You just call their Birmingham depot and request a prepaid postage voucher. Then you take the item to the post office along with the voucher, and the post office will take care of the rest.
Sounds simple enough. Do you have a phone number for the depot in Birmingham?
Yes, you can reach them on 0121 496 0633. Oh, and be sure to call during business hours. They're open from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening.
10 until 6, understood. One final question. What would I have had to do to return the monitor if I had purchased the extended warranty from your store?
Well, the process would have been much simpler, sir. You could have simply brought it into the return desk at your local store. We would have given you your choice of a new monitor, your cash back, or store credit in the amount of 110% of the original cost of the item.
110% store credit? Wow, that seems too good to be true.
Well, company policy is that we want satisfied customers, and when they are not satisfied, we feel the need to compensate them for this in some small measure.
Perhaps next time I'll buy the extended warranty. How much would it have cost on the monitor I bought?
Only £20.
£20 would have been well worth it to save me the trouble of dealing directly with the manufacturer.
Well, now you know, sir.
Indeed I do. Thanks again.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, students, and use that half minute to check your answers. I'm just going to pause our audio here. And then we will go through the answers together. All right. So just before we look at the answers and we talk a bit of strategy on the answers, I looked at all of the different parts of the listening section at the very, very beginning, because I wanted to get an idea of the topic for each of the sections. This is a very, very important strategy on the listening section because it helps your brain to prepare for the topic of each section. And this is very easy to do on the computer-based IELTS exam because you can simply just click and jump to the part 2, part 3, part 4 of the listening, and then you can see what that will be about, okay? So this is a very, very important strategy. Did everybody catch this when I was doing this at the beginning? So we teach this strategy, and a lot of students tell us that, whoa, that really saved me, I think, at least like half a band or a band score. So an important key strategy here, okay, is during the instruction time at the beginning of part 1, they call it part 1, not section 1, and you don't have an example anymore, okay? jump to each of the 4 parts of listening to get an idea of the topics for each of them, okay? All right, so did anybody catch what part 2 will be about? So anybody catch what part 2 will be about? Okay. Okay, Mohit says part 1 is a purchase. Part 2 is some kind of a radio show. Yeah, it's a radio show about charities. Okay. Part 3. Anybody catch what part 3 is going to be about? Okay. Bakrat says trade. Yeah, it's going to be something about trade and taxes, maybe. Something like that. And then part 4 will be, Bakrat says Michelangelo. Very good. All right. So catching these topics of part 2, 3, 4 during the introductory instructions is really useful, again, to get the cogs of your brain, your thoughts moving around these ideas. Your brain is very quick. It takes a lot of action that you are not aware of unconsciously or subconsciously. It's collecting information, vocabulary, experience, so it can be very, very useful, okay? Make sure to do this, all right? So don't just stare. So I've seen candidates do that, where in part 1, they just stare at the computer screen for the whole 1 minute. And what actually happens sometimes is when the students are staring at the computer screen, their brain kind of wanders and they zone out, and then suddenly the listening starts and they're like, whoa! So this is actually a good strategy to keep your attention. So it can really, really save you some marks. All right, so hopefully you did that, all right? Okay, so here we go. In this listening, you heard an example, and if you're using any practice materials that are before 2020, you will hear an example. Just keep in mind that there are no examples for the listening section since 2020. IELTS changed that, but that is absolutely okay. Just don't forget this in your official test. All right, so we jump right to question 1. What product did the man purchase? Was it A, a computer, B, a computer monitor, or C, a television? And again, all you want to do is just indicate the letter, okay, not the word. So it's A, B, or C. It's multiple choice, okay? And for multiple choice, one strategy is to change questions to statements. So here, I believe it's the woman that actually says, oh, I see, you purchased a something eight days ago, I think it was. Days ago. Okay. Something like that. Okay, so you're changing it. And yeah, it was B, it was a computer monitor. So multiple choice questions, you want to change to a statement, okay? And you want to listen for the answer. Don't just stare at the options thinking that one of them is going to go whoop-bam and just jump into your face. It's not going to just jump into your face, okay? That doesn't work. For part 1, multiple choice is a bit easier, but in part 3, part 4 of the listening, multiple choice gets a lot more complicated. So you have to listen for the answer and not just stare at the choices thinking that it's going to be fantastic. Toya, those are some really, really nice results on your IELTS exam. Congratulations. Please send me an email. I would love to get your testimonial with your picture to put with all of our other amazing, successful students. So Toya, please do that. And it's really awesome that we helped you to achieve that. Fantastic. Okay, everyone. So let me help others achieve great scores as well. Toya, that makes my day. I know you were in classes regularly. I know you worked really hard and you deserve that fantastic score. So good for you. Okay, let's do this. So the next question, it was question 2 and 3 together. It's what's called a multiple choice question. Here you want to do notes, okay, as a quick strategy. So again, you change it. What 2 pieces of information? So the 2 pieces of information that are needed to access the record of the purchase are, so I change that to a statement. I take some notes, okay? So here we have several choices. Again, you have to listen to the conversation and the answer, okay? And here, the woman says, I need the name of the product. And she also says, I need the date. Okay. So if you were taking notes, you probably got the idea that she needed the name and the date of the product to access the record of the purchase. And Mohit says that I was listening for that. So the answer was F, the name of the product. Very good, Mohit. And C, nope, the warranty information was not given. It was the purchase date, right? So the correct answers were E and F, right? And again, the other really useful strategy here is logic, okay? So if you lose your receipt and you go to a store to complain about your purchase, usually they say, oh, well, when did you buy it? Okay, well, what was it? What did you buy? And when did you buy it? Maybe we can find it, right? So those are the correct answers there. It is E and F. They need the name and the date, okay? Not the specific information. So she doesn't, this is what the man gives, but this is what she needs, okay? What 2 pieces of information are needed to access the record of purchase? The name of the product and the date of purchase, all right? Okay, let's keep rolling along. Lee M says, why not A? Why not B? Because that's the specific name. That's the specific date. But the woman, regardless of what the product is, regardless of when it was purchased, needs the name and the date. So this is these 2 are the accurate answers. Okay, these are just the answers given. I hope that makes sense. IELTS is a bit tricky there. Okay. All right, think logically. Think about if you're working for this store as the customer agent. What do you need? Okay. Okay, so question 4, question 5, complete the notes below. Write no more than 2 words and or a number for each answer. Warranty, 60 days. Delivery depot, location, Birmingham. Now here it's dictation. The address, it's very common that you have this kind of question where you need the address. It's something Park Road, Unit 5. No more than 2 words and or a number. So what's the best answer for number 4? Jack Williams says it is 89 Edge Bastion. And they spell this, right? So sorry. Edge Bastion. Okay. Wait for the spelling on this. So EDGBASTON, and they often will spell it twice. Okay, you can use all capital letters, that's fine. If you don't, make sure this first letter, the E, is capital because it's the name of the road. If that's a small e, you'll get it wrong. Okay, and then the postcode is the same. Okay, so postcode, you don't need spaces. You don't need to worry about that. You just need the answer for the postcode. And again, they often will give it twice, so be patient, but do get it on the first one. B15 2RU. Okay, B15 2RU. All right. For postcodes, I definitely recommend writing the letters as capitals. Okay, just like for license plates. All right. So B15 2RU, 89 Edgbaston Road. Okay. So here we go. Looks like many of you are doing great so far. Question 6 to 7, write no more than 3 words. Okay, so again, pay attention to those details. In order to get free delivery on product returns, the customer must telephone the depot and request a prepaid what? Okay, so if you know this word, that's great. If not, you're going to have to really listen carefully. Shinju says it's a postage voucher. Yeah. A voucher is basically a piece of paper that says, okay, we will pay for this, right? Postage is the adjective form of post, right? So mail, postage, voucher. And what is the phone number for the depot? So here it's number dictation. Again, part 1 of the IELTS, address, name, phone number, dictation, very common. Why does IELTS do this? Well, because this is something that we do regularly in society. Right now, my daughter just started kindergarten, and I've had to say our postal code and our telephone number and email about 30 times in the last week. So this is something that if you go to another country to study or to live and use English, you're going to be doing a lot, especially in the beginning. Okay? All right. So I see a lot of good answers coming up. Of course, YouTube is blocking it because YouTube is programmed to block phone numbers, but I'm going to enable this in just a moment. So there we go. Now you'll see your answers coming up one after the other as I enable them, and then I'll give you the correct answer. But it looks like a lot of you, Mohit, Bakrat, Aryan, looks like you have the right answer. Iconic books besides travel. Okay. So it looks like a lot of you have the right answers. All right. So it's 0, 1, 2. Again, you don't need to worry about spaces. 1, 4, 9, 6, 0, 6, 3, 3. Okay, make your numbers clear. I kind of messed up this 0. It almost looked like a 6. Make sure that your 0 looks really clear as a 0. If you want to make double sure that it looks like a 0, this is for the paper-based exam, then just pull a line through it. Okay, but make sure that your numbers look clear for the examiner. The instructions for the markers are that if they cannot read your handwriting in the paper-based exam, they will mark it wrong. Okay, so if they cannot make out whether this looks like a 0 or a 6, they will just mark it wrong. Okay, so make sure that your number is a very clear number. Okay, all right. Good job, good job. Let's keep rolling. So question 8, for how many hours is the depot open each day? You had to do a little bit of math here. Okay. So they said the depot is open from this time to that time, and hopefully you figured out that the answer is B. It's open for 8 hours. Okay, so B was the correct answer. Aryan Bakrat, very good. wonderful places. We are using exam book number 5 from aehelp.com for these questions. Okay. All right. Which 3 options are customers given upon returning an item having purchased the warranty? This was an interesting one. So, of course, you can exchange it for a new item. You can get your money back. And the interesting one was 110% store credit. Okay, so free postage, that doesn't make sense. Again, think of logic. 20 pounds. Well, maybe, but that's kind of a weird type of warranty to just give a fixed number to the customer. Here's, oh, I'm sorry, your $500 monitor is broken. Here's 20 bucks. Goodbye. So logic, right? Logic. Free postage, that's, I don't know what that would be useful for. The one tricky one was this 100% store credit. Now here, it's just one question. So you have to get all of them right. In your paper-based exam, you'd have question number 9 on your question sheet. So in any order, you'd have to put A, D, and E. So you could put E, D, and A, for instance, and that would be correct. But if you get any one of these wrong, it would be marked wrong. Okay? Jyoti, Haryanvi, good job. Nick Hill on finding the right answers there. Okay, that was really good. It's a little bit of a tough one. Okay. On the IELTS, listening questions get more and more difficult as you progress with the exam. The woman mentions an item that costs 20 pounds. What is this item? It was the extended warranty, right? So extended warranty, B is the correct answer. Why? Computer monitor. Computer monitors do not cost 20 pounds. That doesn't make sense. IELTS does not lie. Okay. So computer monitors, they wouldn't say 20 pounds. It's not realistic. Manufacturer's warranty is included. So even if you didn't hear this one, if you look at some of these questions in the IELTS, you can figure out the answer just by using logic. Okay. Logic is a good friend. Okay. Lionheart, C does not make sense. Manufacturer's warranty is included with your product, right? Sometimes you have to register your product, but you don't have to pay extra for a manufacturer's warranty. That's the manufacturer, like let's say you buy a TV from Samsung. Samsung says, hey, we make good products, so if the TV doesn't work, just return it to us. We'll give you a new one. Okay, we guarantee our product. So they're not going to say, give us extra money for making sure that our TV works, right? Okay, so manufacturer's warranties are included. So you really only pay for extended warranty that's offered by the store. Think about Amazon. I don't know, maybe not every country has Amazon yet, but a lot do. And when you're buying electronics from Amazon, you often get that little pop-up screen that says, pay an extra $5 for another 2 years of warranty from Amazon. Everybody knows what I'm talking about? That's your extended warranty. Okay, that's Amazon's extended warranty. Is that extra $2 or $3? If you've ever bought electronic equipment through Amazon, they're really good with those extended warranties. Shivam says, yes, I know what you're talking about. Okay. So even online stores have these extended warranties. Okay. All right. How did you do, students? So what did you get from 10? Now, in a perfect world, for those of you that want those high band scores on the IELTS, like band score 7, 8, 9, you should get 9 or 10. So 9 or more, 9 or 10 on part 1 if you're looking for band 7 or more. If you get more than 1 wrong in part 1, it's going to get tough because part 2, 3, and 4 are more challenging. You're going to see that very soon. We're going to listen to part 2. So Amu says 8 out of 10. Amu, our member, that's good. Amu, good for you to jump in on the chat. Rajveer Singh says 9 out of 10. Rajveer, that's pretty good. Mohit, 8 out of 10. All right. Paulo Reese says 8 out of 10. Paulo, it's okay. It's just one off. Just keep practicing, okay? All right, so let's do section 2. Okay, I'm going to, again, play the audio through my headset. So just listen carefully. Turn up the volume if it's quiet for you. And then we'll go through the answers together. So remember, patience, logic, spelling, paying attention to the questions, changing multiple choice to statements rather than questions, listening for the answers instead of staring at the options. These are all strategies that I just discussed, so make sure to use them. Okay, let me just hop back to our audio CDs here. And we are into listening part 2. Please don't put your answers in the chat. Save them till the end. Don't spoil it for others.
Time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening Section 2. You will hear a recording of a radio news magazine discussing the importance of doing good in the community. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Hello, I'm Emma Robertson, and I'd like to welcome our listeners to Beyond the Lens, the programme that aims to dig deeper on issues in culture and society. Today we have Professor Hudson McMahon from the University of Bristol's Department of Social Policy. Hello, Professor McMahon. Do you want to tell us a little about what you'll be presenting today?
Of course, Emma. But first, I'd like to thank you for having me on the show. My wife and I are both avid listeners of Beyond the Lens, and it's a bit of a thrill to be on the show. But I digress. Today, I want to talk about the importance of doing good in the community and in society. There are many ways of doing this, but the two most common ways are volunteering and giving to charity. However, these methods of improving community and society have an important difference. While volunteering one's time is almost always a positive for society, giving to charity is significantly more problematic.
Problematic, Professor McMahon? It would seem to me that giving to charity is always a positive for society. We celebrate those among us who are the greatest donors to charity.
Yes, and in general, it is warranted. I do want to clarify. In general, giving to charity is good, but one must be very careful for two reasons. First, some charities do not do sufficient amounts of charitable good per pound. And second, some charities receive too much money that could be spent better on other causes. Let me discuss each of these in turn.
This seems to me a rather radical thesis.
It seems that way, but I hope to convince you otherwise by the end of the program. Now, getting back to charities. Some charities simply do not give a lot of their received monies to the actual performance of good acts. For instance, some charities utilize less than 10% of their donations on actual charitable activities. The rest goes to salaries, promotion, and other overhead costs. So for a donation of £100, it may be the case that less than £10 actually goes to helping someone.
That sounds terrible, but it still helps people, right?
Well, yes, but as charitable givers, we should try and reward those charities who do most good with the least amount of money. By that I mean that those thinking of donating to charity should do research on a charity before giving to the cause. There are other charities where more than 50% of donations go to the end cause. These charities are much more deserving of your patronage.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
Another reason to be discerning when it comes to your choice of charities is what I call the relative utility of a charitable donation.
Let me take a guess here, Professor McMahon. Is the relative utility of a donation how much good it does relative to other donations?
That's just about it, Emma. The relative utility of a donation is how much good a donation does per amount spent. For instance, the disease MND, motor neuron disease, was in the news in recent years, and MND charities received a windfall of donations. This sounds all well and good, but there is a problem. Unlike, say, heart disease, MND does not affect very many people. While it would be wonderful to cure the disease, there are better allocations of our limited charity funds.
Wait, so you're saying it was bad for people to give to MND charities?
Not quite, only that it was suboptimal. Because there is limited supply of money given to charity each year, it is important that it is used at least somewhat optimally. And allocating overwhelming amounts of money to a disease that affects very low percentage of people is extremely suboptimal.
That's very interesting, Professor McMahon. So how can our listeners try and optimize their charitable gifts?
First of all, don't be caught up in viral social media campaigns. Instead, use such moments to remind yourself of the importance of giving to charity in general, and not just to niche causes with good promotion. And second, do your research. Before you donate, look up how much of a charity's donation go to the actual end goal. Additionally, look up how many people are affected by the charity's end cause. The more people there are affected, and the worse they are affected, the more likely you should be to donate to that cause. It is all about maximizing good in the world.
That certainly sounds like a noble goal, but if everyone donates...
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, students, and check those answers in the half minute. Let me just hop back to the website here, stop the audio. We'll go back and answer the questions together now. So here we go with section 2. By the way, this gentleman's accent, anybody know what that was? So the woman had a British accent, and the man's accent was, and on the IELTS exam, you can get Canadian accents, Australian accents, or like this man, you can get an accent that is from, I don't know if it's not Irish for you. It's a Kiwi accent from New Zealand. Okay, it's a New Zealand accent. All right. So here we go. Section 2, or as they call it now, part 2. Right, no more than 3 words for each answer. What is the name of this radio show? Anybody catch that? So what was the name of this radio show? The woman says it once, and then the man says it again. So the woman says, "Welcome to the radio show," and then she says the name, and then the man says it again. He says, "Oh, my wife and I are avid listeners of..." Very good, Earfun. It's Beyond the Lens. Now, Earfun, make sure lens is with a capital. Oh, Beyond. Articles do not need capitalization in titles. Beyond the Lens. Okay? So we don't capitalize articles like the, or an, and we don't capitalize participles like of or in either. Okay? But the name, B and L, have to be capitalized. So it's Beyond the Lens. Shivam, all capitals is okay. That's a sure way to make sure you're not making mistakes. Aryan, very good. Okay, now we had some categorization questions here. You had to categorize the next 4 questions according to volunteering, charitable giving, or neither. Okay? So you have to be clear here on what is volunteering, what is charitable giving. Volunteering is when you give your time. Okay, so you go and in person you give your time. And charitable giving is when you give money. All right, so you have to be clear on that difference. Okay, affects fewer people but maybe highly inefficient. Is it volunteering, charitable giving, or is it neither? Few people but doesn't work. It's kind of weird. Number 12. So if you're thinking logically, you should come up with the answer C. Okay. So neither of these two affects few people and is highly inefficient. That just wouldn't work. Shivam Bakrat, very good. Okay, number 13, can be problematic for various reasons. So this one, if you're listening to this part too carefully, even if you don't catch it at first, later on, you should realize that this one is B. Okay, so giving to charities can be problematic. Paulo Race, very good. So Paulo Race says that's got to be B. Jack Williams, Shivam, Irfan, Aryan, Natalie, all agree on that one. Okay, it's almost always a positive action for society. Again, logical thinking, visualization. You realize that this is A, okay? It's volunteering. If you go and give your time to helping sick children, helping elderly people, helping animals at a shelter, it's pretty much always going to be positive. You're always doing some kind of good in your community. So that one's definitely going to be A. And Mohit and Shivam and Peter Aid all see that as well. Okay, number 15, subject to many overhead costs. Again, they talk about this in detail. They say, well, you have to pay people's salaries, you have to pay for advertising. If you think of UNICEF, Greenpeace, World Wildlife Federation, then you realize that, oh, that's got to be charitable giving again. Okay, so very clearly, subject to many overhead costs. Overhead costs means the extra costs of operation. Okay, and here the extra cost of operation is referring to those. Of course, giving your time, if you go and volunteer somewhere, there's, well, not a lot of overhead costs really. Yeah, you have to pay for your own things, but all right. Number 16. What are two reasons charities can be inefficient? And this question stated another way is, what are the two overhead costs, right? So here you had to choose two letters. Okay. For number 16, which two? Okay. Vicky says it's B and D. Not necessarily. It says that it's 10% for some, it's 50% for others. So instead, it's the promotion, so the advertising of the charity. So C was one of the correct answers. And the other correct answer was A, they must pay employees. So people work for charities, okay? And not everybody that works for a charity is a volunteer because they wouldn't be able to survive. Think about Red Cross, okay? Red Cross has lots of nurses, doctors that volunteer, but they also have lots of administrators that get paid. They have doctors and nurses that get paid as well. So charities must pay salaries of some employees, and they must promote. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that they exist. So the correct answers are A and C for number 16. Okay. Don't get lost in details. Students, be very careful with details. Okay. Do not, let me put that as a big not. Do not get lost in details for multiple choice questions. Okay, everybody's clear on that? So when you see something really specific, like they give less than 10%, you should kind of be like, is that the reason charities are inefficient? Does that apply to all charities? Maybe not. But does it apply to all charities that they pay the salaries of employees? Yeah. Does it apply to all charities that they promote themselves, they advertise themselves? Yeah. So be really careful with these very detailed answers. For this kind of question, they're often not the right choice. Okay. All right, and I see a nice big thumbs up from Vicky03. Vicky says, yeah, no, I got that. So if you do lots of practice exams, you kind of figure that out. You realize, oh, wait a second. There's something wrong here. All right. So, moving on. Here we have a flow chart. You have charity. On one side, you have heart disease. On the other side, you have something else. Affects many people, affects something else. So these, right away, I can realize there's something like the opposites. Okay. So heart disease is something that affects many people, and it's a good use of funds if you donate to it. So what is a kind of disease that doesn't affect many people? Cancer? Well, no. Cancer would be like heart disease. It affects many people. So this one has to be F, which is MND, motor neural disease. And then it affects A, few people, right? Many, A is few, few is the opposite of many. Okay. Natalie says A, Shivam says A. And then if this is a good use of funds, what's the opposite of good use of funds from this list here? Shinju says, well, inefficient would be a good opposite in this context, inefficient use of funds. Yeah, so F, 17, 18A, 19B. Very nice. Last but not least, question 20. Here we go. According to the guest, what is the main goal of charitable giving? Think logic here. So at the end of the day, finally, in the end, these are the kind of statements that you're listening for. This expert on charities and volunteering says, at the end of the day, it's all about, Kezia says, Angelina says, see, maximizing good. So at the end of the day, it's all about maximizing good. Kitch-Nguyen, it's not A, not doing research. It's about maximizing good in the world. That's what the final statement is that the man says. He says, at the end of the day, it's all about maximizing good in this world. So the main goal of charitable giving is not to do research. So if you finish this sentence, it makes sense that this is the right answer. Okay? All right, everyone. So if you were here this whole class, add up your raw score. It's called your raw score. And let me know what you got out of 20. I'm curious, okay? So what was your score from 20? Now, if you're looking to get Band 7, Band 8, Band 9 on your IELTS for Part 1, Part 2 together, plus Part 2 together, your score should be equal to or greater than 16, okay, for Band 7 or more. All right, if you're getting less than that, it's going to be a little bit tough because Part 3, Part 4 are going to be more challenging. Shivam, 17 is pretty decent, okay? Nimran, you're welcome. Shinju, that's pretty good. Aryan, you're right at the cutoff, okay? Giranath, 9 out of 20, you've already dropped to a band 6.5 at that point, okay? All right. Irfan, a little bit under the required. Okay, so keep up the practice. You can do lots of practice on our websites. We've got lots of practice exams and strategies and materials and videos. Doesn't cost very much for our premium course. aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Students, tomorrow I will be back with listening part 3 and 4. That's the second half of this exam. So come back tomorrow at the same time. And again, check out our websites, ahelp.com for academic IELTS, glshelp.com for general IELTS. I'm Adrian. That's it for today. Make sure to keep up the studies. If you didn't get a great score, don't worry. Your brain is a learning machine. Just keep pushing forward. You're all beautiful, brilliant people. Remember that. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.